Dear students, now we will learn the lesson digestion and absorption. What is digestion? Where does it happen? The food that we eat provides us energy. If we don't eat, when we starve, we feel very weak because the energy for our activities is supplied by the food. And this energy only regulates and coordinates various activities of our body. The components of our food are carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, fibers and water. We obtain them from the plant and animal sources. Digestive system. The process of digestion involves 5 processes. They are the intake of the food, which is called as ingestion, breakdown of the food into micromolecules called digestion, absorption of these micromolecules into the bloodstream called as absorption, and the absorbed substances becoming the component of the cells called as assimilation, and the elimination of the undigested substances called as egestion. So intake of food is called ingestion, breakdown of food is called digestion, absorption of these micromolecules into the bloodstream is called absorption, and the absorbed substance becoming the component of the cell is called assimilation, and elimination of the waste material is called as egestion. The digestive system includes the alimentary canal and the associated digestive glands. Alimentary canal is a continuous muscular digestive tract. It begins with the mouth in the anterior and ends in the anus posteriorly. Alimentary canal consists of the organs like mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, rectum and anus. I hope you all can locate them all in this diagram. So mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, thondai, esophagus, stomach, intestine, rectum and anus. The mouth will intake the food and it leads to the buccal cavity, which is otherwise called as oral cavity. The mechanical digestion is initiated in the buccal cavity by chewing with the help of the teeth and the tongue. The chemical digestion takes place through the enzyme secreted by the salivary gland. Tooth. Each tooth is embedded in the socket, and the socket is present in the jawbone. So this type of attachment of the teeth in the socket is called thecodont. Human beings and many mammals, they have 2 sets of teeth during their lifetime. A set of temporary teeth, which is 20 in number, that will fall for the children, that will fall around the age of 6, and it is called as deciduous teeth or temporary teeth, and they are get replaced by a set of permanent teeth or adult teeth, a set of 32 permanent teeth. That's why it is called as dentition in human beings is called as dipiodont, because we have 2 sets of teeth in our life. The permanent teeth are of 4 types, and so they are called heterodont. The first type is called as incisors or chisel shaped cutting teeth, and the dagger shaped tearing teeth, that is called canines. So we'll have a canine on each side of each jaw. Premolars for grinding and molars for grinding and crushing. The arrangement of the teeth in each half of the upper jaw is in the order of incisors, canines, premolars and molars, and carry the formula 2 1 2 3. So the dental formula can be represented by 2 1 2 3 by 2 1 2 3 into 2 for each jaw. The mineral salts like calcium, magnesium get deposited in the teeth and form a hard layer which is called as tartar or calculus, called as plaque. And if the plaque is formed, causing inflammation in the gums, and this is called as gingivitis. This leads to the redness and bleeding in the gums and bad smell. So hard chewing surface of the teeth is made up of enamel, and it must be periodically cleaned, brushed, and it helps in the mastication of the food. Tongue is a movable muscular organ and it is attached to the posterior end by the frenulum, attached to the floor of the buccal cavity, and it is free in the front, and it helps to take in the food, chew, mix with the saliva, swallow the food, and also aid in speaking. The upper surface of the tongue has small projections called papillae with taste buds. Oral cavity leads to the pharynx. Pharynx leads to the esophagus. The food passes into the esophagus through a opening called gullet at the back of the pharynx. The cartilaginous flap called epiglottis will prevent the entry of the food into the glottis. So glottis is the opening of the trachea. So during swallowing, this epiglottis will close the glottis to prevent the entry of food into the windpipe. Two masses of lymphoid tissue called tonsils are located at the sides of the pharynx. Esophagus is a long, thin, muscular tube-like structure. It conducts the food from the pharynx to the J-shaped stomach. Cardiac sphincter regulates the opening of the esophagus into the stomach. If the cardiac sphincter does not contract properly during the churning action of the stomach, the gastric juice with the acid flow back into the esophagus and cause heartburn, and this is called as GERD or gastroesophagus reflux disorder. The stomach is the temporary storage organ. It is located in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity, and it consists of three parts: the cardiac portion, which is towards the esophagus, the fundic, and the pyloric portion. The pyloric portion will open into the duodenum. The opening of the stomach into the duodenum is guarded by the sphincter muscle called pyloric sphincter. It periodically allows the digested food into the duodenum and prevents regurgitation of the food. The inner wall of the stomach has many folds called gastric rugae, and this unfolding will accommodate large amount of meal. The small intestine will assist in the final digestion of the food. It also helps in the absorption of food, and it is the largest part, as three regions: the U-shaped duodenal region, which is about 25 centimeter long, a long coiled middle region which is 2.4 meter long called jejunum, and a highly coiled ileum region which is about 3.5 meter long. The wall of the duodenum has Brenner's gland, and this secrete the mucus and the enzymes. Brenner's gland secrete the mucus and the enzyme. Ileum is the longest part and opens into the cecum of the large intestine. The ileal mucosa has numerous vascular projections called villi, and they are involved in the absorption. Villi produces numerous microscopic projections called microvilli, giving a brush border appearance. Along with villi, the ileal mucosa contains mucus secreting goblet cells and lymphoid tissue which is called Peyer's patches, and they produce lymphocytes. The wall of the small intestine bears crypts between the base of the villi, and these crypts are called as crypts of Lieberkühn. Large intestine consists of cecum, colon, and rectum. Cecum is a blind pouch and opens into the colon. Colon has four regions: an ascending, a transverse, and a descending colon, and a sigmoid shaped colon. The cecum and the vermiform appendix are large in the herbivorous animals, but in human beings it is vestige and form a tubular and vermiform appendix. Colon is lined by dilations called haustra, singular haustrum, and the S-shaped sigmoid colon opens into the rectum. Rectum is concerned about the temporary storage of the fecal matter. It opens out through the anus. Anus is guarded by two anal sphincter muscles. Anal mucosa fold into several vertical folds, and they contain arteries and veins called anal columns, and this, when they enlarge, causes piles or hemorrhoids. Now the histology of gut. The wall of the alimentary canal from the esophagus to the rectum consists of four layers, namely serosa, the outermost layer, muscularis, submucosa, and mucosa. Serosa is otherwise called as visceral peritoneum, and it is outermost, made up of squamous epithelial tissue and some connective tissues. Muscularis is made up of smooth muscles and a network of nerve fibers. Parasympathetic nerve fibers will control the peristalsis movement. Submucosa is a layer of loose connective tissue containing the nerves, blood, lymph vessels, sympathetic nerve fiber, etc. The innermost lining of the lumen is called as mucosa. This secretes the mucus. Now the digestive glands. The digestive glands are exocrine glands. They secrete the biological catalyst called enzymes. The digestive enzyme associated with the alimentary canal is called as salivary gland, liver and pancreas. Stomach wall has the gastric glands and it secretes the gastric juice. The intestinal mucosa secrete intestinal juice. There are three pairs of salivary glands. They are the largest parotid gland, submaxillary or submandibular in the lower jaw, and the sublingual beneath the tongue. The parotid gland duct is called Stenson's. The parotid gland duct is called Stenson's duct. Submandibular or submaxillary gland duct is called Wharton's duct, and the sublingual gland duct is called as Bartholin duct. Salivary gland secretes about 1000 to 1500 ml of saliva daily. The stomach wall is lined by the gastric glands. The chief cells or the peptic cells, otherwise called as zymogen cells, secrete gastric enzymes, and the goblet cells secrete mucus. The parietal or the oxyntic cells secrete HCl. So the chief cells and the peptic cells secrete gastric enzymes, goblet cells secrete mucus, parietal or oxyntic cells secrete HCl. So three secretion, and an intrinsic factor responsible for the absorption of the B12 called as Castell's intrinsic factors are present on the inner wall of the stomach. Liver. Liver is the largest gland situated in the upper side of the abdominal cavity below the diaphragm. It consists of two major left and right lobes and two minor lobes. The lobes are connected with the diaphragm, and the lobe has hepatic lobules. They are covered by thin connective sheath called Glissen's capsule. Hepatic cells secrete bile juice. It is stored in the gallbladder temporarily, and the duct of the gallbladder is called cystic duct. Along with the hepatic duct from the liver, it forms a common bile duct. The bile duct passes towards and join with the main pancreatic duct, forming a common hepatopancreatic duct, and this will open into the duodenal region, and it is guarded by the sphincter of Oddi. Apart from the secretion of bile, liver also performs several other functions, like they destroy the aging and defective blood cells, they become the storehouse for glucose, forming glycogen, they store fat soluble vitamins and detoxify the toxic substances, and they are involved in the synthesis of non-essential amino acids and urea. The next gland is called pancreatic gland. It is the second largest gland of the digestive system, yellow in color, and it is elongated organ containing exocrine and endocrine cells. It is situated between the limbs of the duodenum, U-shaped duodenum, and the exocrine portion of this pancreatic juice contain enzymes such as pancreatic amylase, trypsin and pancreatic lipase. And the endocrine part, we know that it is the islets of Langerhans secrete the hormones called insulin and glucagon. Pancreatic duct opens into the duodenum.